Hello everyone, my name is Rachel and I am the education assistant at Madison Audubon this summer. I also worked for Madison Audubon last summer, and so I am very excited to be back. I am doing Facebook Live for the first time, and so I am going to keep track of all the different pieces. I'm also going to try and make this talk interactive, so there will be some times when I will ask questions and you will be able to respond. Now you can do that in any way that you'd like. You can think to yourself, you can share with someone at home with you, or you can type something in the comments section and I will look for all of your replies there. So, once again, for people who are just joining, my name is Rachel and I am the education assistant at Madison Audubon. I used to teach outdoor learning in northern Minnesota, kind of up here. Now I live in southern Wisconsin, so I am still learning about the flora and the fauna of our state. Flora is a fancy word for all of the plants that you see around you, and fauna is a fancy word for all of the animals, like birds. It has been so exciting to hear about all of your bird sightings this week. If you would like to share in the comments a bird you've seen this week or a bird call that you have been trying to learn, you can leave a comment. I have been seeing a lot of robins out, the American robin. I was using my bird guide to identify it. There's our robin. So I decided to try and teach myself the call of the American robin. So here goes. Here's my American robin call. I know that I don't sound perfectly like a bird, but it has been fun to try and mimic some of the birds that I'm hearing. I think one bird that I'm really excited to try and mimic this summer is the red-winged blackbird. I have been hearing a lot of those on my walks. All right, so today we are going to zoom out a little bit from birds, and we are going to be looking at where we see birds in nature. And I know a lot of times we see them when they're in trees or when they're hiding out amongst plants on the ground. So we will be talking about some of the habitat of different birds. Habitat is a word for where something lives. I have one really big question for you. So remember, you can think in your head, or you can share with someone around you, or you can leave your response in the comments. So, what the heck are plants doing right now? I know that we've seen a lot of birds, a lot of insects, animals out and about moving during these summer months. But what are plants doing right now? All right. When we are looking at plants, oftentimes we are seeing ones that are growing super tall, like the trees around us, or we're seeing more shrub-like plants that are growing out. Out of all of those plants, what do you think they are up to? Okay, we have someone who thinks they're hanging around, making oxygen. Totally, that is one thing that they're doing. They're putting all their energy towards one big thing. They are making sugar. Plants are growing. This time of year is the perfect time for plants to spend all of their energy growing. So, just like what I was talking about, plants are either growing up or they're growing out because they're all searching for one big thing. You can say it with me if you want to. Sunlight! All the plants are growing and searching for sunlight. This is the perfect time for plants to grow because it is the time of year when they don't have to start thinking about winter yet. I know, that's wild. We think we're the farthest away from winter, but plants have to start thinking about winter by the end of summer. So this is the time of year when they are growing. All right. All the plants are growing to get the sunlight. So you might see some plants on your walks that look kind of silly because they're trying to find the sun. I know, I love it when I see plants that maybe started growing this way and then have to turn and grow a different way to try and seek the sun. So if you see any of those funnily shaped plants, you might think to yourself that they are just trying to find that sun. Okay. Another thing you might notice about plants right now is that they are all full of green leaves. The leaves in the plants are what's catching the sunlight. They're using it to make sugars, and that's the food that they eat. Now, it's not quite the same as the sugar we put into cookies and cake and other yummy things. But it is the food that they're eating. It's a type of sugar. And this process has a name. It is called photosynthesis. Now that's kind of a long word, so I'm going to say it again. Photosynthesis. But we can break down this word to figure out what it means. Here are our parts. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. So the word photo means light. Just like when you're taking a photograph, you're using light. The word synthesis means making something from simple parts. That's exactly what plants are doing. They are making sugar from simple ingredients. They're using air, they're using water, and they're using light, the energy that comes from the sun. That's pretty cool that all those plants out there, all those leaves, are making sugars just from the air, the water, and the sunlight. So today I thought I would do a little experiment with all of you. I wanted to see if I could be a leaf and if I could do some photosynthesis. So you can leave me a message in the comments if you want. If you think that I can also be a leaf and make some sugar, I'll show you what I have. I think that since I'm wearing this green shirt, I'm green like a leaf, and I have with me my container of water I have my container of air, and I am going to use the light from my phone, the flashlight. So there's my bright light. So I think that if I mix all of these things together, I might make some sugar. So here I go. I'm going to start with my container of water. And I am going to dump in my container of air. And I'm going to shine my bright light into my mixture of air and water. And now I think I've done it. So I'm going to take my sip of water and see if I've made some sugar. It just tastes like water. I wasn't able to make any sugar. Darn it. I cannot be a leaf. Leaves have special structures inside of them that allow them to make sugars from such simple ingredients. And I don't have that. So the next time you pass some leaves, you can think to yourselves, wow, that's super cool that these plants are making all their own food and they're not even moving. Phew. So now we know what all the plants are up to right now. We are going to work on identifying some of them, so learning their names. This might help you when you're looking for birds or other things if you know what kind of plants they're living on. We will be working with trees today, and something you can use is the Urban Tree Key. The Urban Tree Key is on the Forces of Nature Summer Camp website, so you can use that to help you identify some trees. I'm going to be using 2 different structures of trees to help identify them. I'm going to be using leaves and seeds. So, I'll show you a leaf. If you want to make a guess for where it came from, you can. And I'll talk about how I identified it. Here's my first leaf. Oh, I want to make a quick note. I found these leaves and seeds on the ground. Remember that all the plants are using their leaves to make themselves food right now, and that the most important thing is that they're growing. So, please don't pick leaves or other things off of trees. See if you can find them lying on the ground, ones that have already fallen. You could also take pictures of ones that are on the trees or other plants if you want to identify them that way. Here's my first leaf. All right, take a good look. I found this leaf on the ground, and there was a really big tree. And so I decided I was gonna identify this tree. I've seen a lot of crows in it. The first thing I decided to do was look at my leaf shape. I noticed that this shape is really distinct and it will help me identify it. It's kind of like an upside down heart. The other thing I notice about this leaf is that it has very jagged edges. So I can turn to my tree key and I can look for leaves that are shaped like hearts and have very jagged edges. One other word that you might see on your tree key is the word petiole. The petiole is like the stem of the leaf. So this whole thing is the petiole. For my leaf, I used the edges and the shape to figure out that it was a cottonwood. And it gave me some other clues or ways to identify it on my Urban Tree Key. It says it has a flat petiole. So I double checked. And this stem is flat. I can feel it with my fingers and I can't spin it. If it was round, I would be able to spin it. So that is how I identified that leaf. All right. Here is our next leaf. This one is kind of tricky because this whole thing is one leaf. Do you have any guesses what you think this might be? When you see a leaf that looks like this, it is called a compound leaf, and each of these individual leaves is called a leaflet. So when I see compound leaves, that gives me a big hint as to what types of trees I might be looking at. Using my tree key, I was able to identify this compound leaf as coming from a black locust. I looked at my leaves and I saw that they have round edges at the top. That was another way that helped me identify this tree. Alright, here's my last one. Now this one is kind of tricky and I had to use two structures from the tree to identify it. I used the leaf and the seed. We'll start with the leaf. Here is the leaf of the tree that I want to identify. Now, I kind of know this shape of leaf. It's very familiar to me, and I know it came from a maple tree. But then I was looking at my urban tree key and I saw there were so many types of maple trees. And I wasn't sure which type of maple tree this leaf came from. So I had to use another structure to help me identify the tree. Maybe you've seen these around. They're like helicopters, and these are maple seeds. Since I was able to find the seed, I could identify which maple tree I was seeing. These seeds are very wide. The wings come out and they're almost horizontal. There's only one type of maple tree that has such wide seeds, and that's the Norway maple. So I was able to use both the leaves and the seeds to help me identify that tree. There's a lot of good information on these urban tree keys that you can use to help you identify some of the trees that you're seeing. That is all I have for today. If you have any questions about identifications, or if you have any trees or other plants you would like to share, you can send us a message on Facebook, or you can send us an email, and we'll try and help you identify something if you have a question, or we'd love to just share with you the excitement of learning a new tree or what some of the plants are that you're seeing outside. Thank you so much for being with me today with our short little talk on plants, and I hope that we hear from all of you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the sunshine. Bye.